business and spirituality. On this show, I like to transfer energy on a spiritual level. Wavelengths, frequencies, auras, and fundamentally through the chakras. Now, each and every single living organism has a chakra system in which spiritual energy travels through and around it each and every day. I'm Indigo, a living, breathing, walking representation of the third eye in the flesh. Now, on this new season of Chakras, the spirit of Indigo, we're going to embark on many topics that are going to allow you to experience ascension and enlightenment on a whole new level. Welcome to the new season of Chakras, the spirit of Indigo, where we plan to embark on many topics that are going to allow you to experience ascension and enlightenment on a whole new level, all right? Now today, on this episode, we're going to be talking about ownership, all right? And how do we express ownership over here in Indigo Management? Well, through the four principles, all right? Now, what are the four principles? Is what we're going to be going over today, not to mention how to demonstrate these four principles, and I'm gonna make it personal and give you some of the experiences that I have went through, so that way you yourself can put it into the flesh mentality and make it practical, okay? Now, what are the four principles? Paperwork, investments, group economics, and time management. Now, what is paperwork? The paperwork that I express is going to be LLCs, S corporations, C corporations, not to mention partnerships and series LLCs, all right? If you do wish to copyright something and trademark things as well, you can do that with your logos and not to mention other graphics that you have. LLCs and partnerships are for mainly the paperwork, the business side. If you like drawing and do graphics, that's where the copywriting and trademarking comes in, all right? Now, the second one, which is going to be investments, equipment, employees, and not to mention time. These are things that you can invest in primarily, all right, to get that business started, all right? And I'm gonna put it into the flesh mentality and make it practical in just a minute, but let's go down to step number 3, which is group economics, all right? And now this is the one that I advocate a lot for new beginners after you've done your paperwork and investment. Get out there and definitely get some networking in, marketing, advertising, and the main thing is adding significant value, all right? Now, what is significant value? Significant value is adding value or mutualism to someone else so much that they can't get rid of you, all right? This is where most people thrive at in the business world. They add so much value to someone that they can't get rid of them, so they're forced to build together, all right? That's step number 3. Step number 4 is going to be time management, all right? Time management has to deal with budgeting and scheduling. Now, how do I do this? I'm gonna give you personal experiences in just a moment, but let me give you some demonstrations, all right? Let's take it a little bit further. When we go down to paperwork, what I did was go to the state capitol. I paid money, and that's how you get this paperwork started, all right? Step number 2 with investments, just purchase what you need. Once you purchase what you need for your business, whether it's a clothing brand, whether it is doing things with tech software, once you purchase what you need, you can get those investments and that paperwork which you just invested in to working for you, all right? Going down to step number 3, support locals and entrepreneurs. I can't say this enough. When you support the locals around you, that's going to build their self-esteem up. And then you also get credibility because your community is directly thriving and striving from or benefiting, should I say, from what that local artist or what that local entrepreneur is doing in your city, all right? And I just support entrepreneurs in general. This is not like working a 9 to 5, and these people are really going out there and putting 120% into everything they do, all right? So let's definitely go out there and support locals and all entrepreneurs, all right? Let's take it one step further and go with time management. And how we can demonstrate time management is you can work your 9 to 5, but let's make sure we make time for ourselves as well, all right? When we make time for ourselves outside of the 9 to 5, that's when we can begin to see our business grow exponentially, all right? If you can go give 8 hours or 10 hours to a job, you can definitely come home and give yourself 2 hours for your business so you can begin what they call generational wealth, all right? And that's gonna lead me going on to step number 3, which I'm gonna make it personal for you, all right? Give you some experiences on what I've done in order to make these things happen. Now, paperwork. I got my paperwork in September on my birthday in 2018, and that's how I made my paperwork real. And once I went to that step, I went straight to this step, investments. I bought cameras, drones, lights. You know, I started investing at least one day a week into my business so I could begin to thrive as well. When you invest in yourself, it feels weird because you're spending money and you're not seeing any return on it. You're buying equipment and you're really not seeing anything profitable come from it yet. That's okay, but the investment has already been made because you spent the time to learn the program, you spent the time to actually spend the money to invest in yourself as well. So just hold on, hang in there, it's gonna come full circle for you, all right? Let's come down to group economics. And what did I do on my personal experiences? I began sharing things on social media from other locals and entrepreneurs. Started doing videos for other entrepreneurs around the city. And I didn't make this clear earlier, but when I was doing paperwork, I began managing artists. That's what I was doing initially. Videography was never intended for me to do, but videography and photography became a part of what I do. So Indigo Management is the series LLC that I have, and under that, you're going to find Indigo Kid. That's the clothing brand. Conscious streetwear for the enlightened, all right? You can check it out on the website, www.indigokid87.com, all right? Also, underneath that series LLC is going to be the videography production company, Indigo Images. This is responsible for promotional videos, commercial videos. I love doing music videos as well. So you can hit me up on that same website, or you can check me out on the YouTube channel, Spencer Williams /Chakras, all right? Now let's take it down to this last step with group economics, and I'm doing what I'm doing right now, which is teaching and sharing information. I have learned something from getting paperwork, investing in myself, and doing with the group economics. Now I have to give it back, all right? Going to the last step, making it personal experience for myself, I began to budget more and living in long time, forced time, and not to mention end time. Now, what do I mean by that? I got this concept from the 48 Laws of Power, living in long time. This is the years on our life, 10, 15 years down the road. We can see and fathom that. I mean, we can't see and fathom that stuff yet, but it's coming, all right? That's what long time is. We really can't make too many decisions to affect that time. The next one is forced time. We live in this a lot on a daily basis, getting this done so we can accomplish other goals throughout the day or throughout the week. So essentially what forced time is making time for other events or situations that you have coming up in the future. End time. End time is when you've already planned, plotted, you strategized enough. The time has come for you to execute, all right? There's no more thinking. This is what happens at the end of, what can I say? I guess our goals, when we've gotten ready to manifest them. We've gotten the paperwork, we've invested, we've practiced group economics, and not to mention we put time into ourselves, all right? So now it's time to go out there and put it into that end time game, all right? We're gonna take a quick commercial break. I put a lot on you with the 4 principles, but when we come back, I have the weekly spiritual insight. Good afternoon, content creators. I'm Indigo. Thank you once again for joining me. It's day 17. we're in this thing, talking about interviewing strategies. I myself personally have never interviewed anyone, all right? I think I can get into the swing of things, but it's just weird. I couldn't find anybody to interview at the time that I was recording this video, so it really doesn't matter. I can do the interview on myself. I saw my girl Fee Miller do it. I'm definitely gonna do it as well. So let me get this thing started off, all right? With the first question. I'm born in a small town in Alabama called Roanoke. Roanoke, all right? Just like Roanoke, Virginia, there's a Roanoke, Alabama, all right? It's about 15, 20 minutes outside of the Georgia state line, all right? So LaGrange, Georgia, I get to Franklin, Georgia. It's about an hour and a half from Atlanta, Georgia. So just to give you a little bit of a insight on where the actual city is located at. So it's gonna be the northeast part of the state. That's my native hometown. Got my education also, with my secondary education in Montgomery, Alabama. So Alabama pretty much is where I'm born, raised, cultured, you name it, environmentally. But I really appreciate Roanoke, Alabama and Montgomery, Alabama, but for teaching me and raising me. But every part of Alabama gets my love, all right? Some of my hobbies. Some of my hobbies include, growing up, football was always the only hobby for me, along with playing video games. I still dibble and dabble into both of those, playing flag football on the weekends, sometimes whenever it's sunny outside, and playing video games. But as I've gotten older now, I think I've adopted a couple of more hobbies, such as disc golf, also known as frothing, tennis, and golf. Have also become new hobbies of mine that I enjoy going outside and doing on a regular with other people to get that socialing in. But chess is going to be the game now that I have decided to play to strengthen my mind, to strengthen my decision making, should I say. So those are a couple of hobbies that I have been working on as of lately to gain more headway with. Also learning different languages like Spanish. What else was I starting to do? Painting and drawing. Other things to get this creative side of the brain to working again, working the way it's supposed to be working, all right? So a lot more hobbies to come, but those are a couple of mine that I enjoy to go through. Ooh, astrology sign. I like this one a lot. This question always gets asked, but I'm a Virgo. All right? Virgo's a virgin. Also, in the harvest season, this is another reason why I love the fall time. Everything's happening in the fall time, like literally everything. But Virgo is the best astrology sign in my opinion. It's the critic or the craftsman. I can say I'm pretty much a little bit of both, but my moon sign is going to be Cancer, and my ascending sign is going to be a Leo. Survival techniques. If I could say there's one thing that needs to be taught and be administered when it comes to learning survival, it's probably how to hunt. Like anything outdoors mainly, but hunting, hiking, all this stuff kind of goes all into one big bunch. Cause I don't want to say just hunting with guns, because I need to learn how to hunt with bow and arrows. Learning how to set traps, learning which direction to hike in. Like all this outdoor knowledge is what survival really is when it comes down to learning how to protect yourself if indeed a crisis were to come, or if you need to bug out or something. These kind of things are things to think about. I think about them all the time. I'm born and raised in the South. We love to hunt. We love to ride the four-wheelers. We love to get out there and climb trees, but it's just whatever it is, in my younger days. But I still advocate going outside. I still sharpen knives. I love fishing as well. Learning how to fish and hunt and put food on the table for yourself is a huge thing that's being lacked now in the generation, and I really want to drive that home. We need to get back outdoors and learn how to fend for ourselves.
You understand? Definitely. What do I like to do in my spare time? Read. Reading. I can't say it any more funny. R-E-A-D. Read. 10 years. Well, in 10 years I'll be 43. And 43, let me see. Probably about 5 years away from retirement. Especially the way I got my business set up right now. I'm starting to be a little bit more goal oriented. Getting out of debt. In 10 years, I should definitely be where I want to be. And I should be about 5 years outside of retirement. Well, yes, because retirement's going to be so nice. But I don't want to think about that now. I really appreciate the journey. You know, in the beginning it was great. I could definitely see the end game. I guess that's why people always ask you where you see yourself in 10 years. It's like a common question. But yeah. Thank y'all so much for watching that interview of myself. It's kind of awkward doing that, but I appreciate being on the camera. The camera is everything to me now. That's why I want to start another film company outside of Indigo Images. It's going to be called Forever Films. This is where I'm going to have a camera on me at all times. Drones, wherever we are, GoPros. This is how I want to live my life, you know, through the lens, because I feel like if they say a picture's worth 1,000 words, what's a video worth, you know? So yeah, as long as I have lights, camera, action around me all the time, I'll be straight, I feel like. Around my family. And I've watched documentaries where people do that kind of thing, so I think it'd be kind of nice to introduce my family into the film world, you know? Document everything. Yeah, it'd be kind of nice, especially if I'm gonna have like a lot of land. Yeah, that'd be dope. Thank y'all for watching my day 17. This is Interviewing Strategy with your boy Indigo. I'm gonna see y'all again tomorrow, where you already know where we're gonna be practicing intuition, creativity, and imagination.
Welcome back to Chakras, the spirit of Indigo, where we're about to go into a new segment, and this one is called the Weekly Spiritual Insight, all right? And this week on the Weekly Spiritual Insight, the topic is going to be ownership, and I'm expressing it through the 4 principles. And I challenge you this week on the Weekly Spiritual Insight to go out there and see which step you fall in with the 4 principles, all right? Are you practicing paperwork and you're just now getting started? It's okay. We all have to start somewhere. Some of us are investing in ourselves, gaining equipment, buying overhead, gaining employees to help us thrive and share our vision toward the future, all right? Are you practicing group economics right now? You have pretty much what you need when it comes down to paperwork, investment, and now you just need somebody to be around so the creative minds can begin to work and flourish, all right? Or are you practicing time management? This is the one that I practice a lot of, trying to give more days out of the week to my entrepreneurship. That way we can get a little bit more done towards the generational wealth side, all right? Because this is what this is all for. You know, once we're dead and gone, we have to leave things for our family as well. And how we do that is through not money, but through certain assets that we have acquired that keep compounding interest and keep compounding more assets on top of it, all right? So definitely things like real estate, you can have trust funds and things of that nature, but let's make sure our generational wealth is secured with the 4 principles and gaining our own ownership, all right? So that was the Weekly Spiritual Insight. Make sure you go out there and find out which step in the process you are going through right now, all right? So stay tuned. We're gonna go to another quick commercial break. When we come back, we got the message of the day. Great afternoon, content creators. I'm Indigo. Thank you once again for joining me for the Solo Creator Pro Challenge. Today is day 18. We'll just keep chugging along. I really appreciate the journey. Today is about self-evaluation. All right, now, after watching some of my game tape, that's what Quincy Harris calls it, I seen that a lot of my gestures, hand movement, eye contact, even finding the right words to say, it's not necessarily a problem,
but I can see where I can improve on it. All right, and I think it was body movements as well. So I've already finished this book. I might need to go read it again, but I advocate it to everyone else as well. This is the Everything Body Language book. Shows you how to be the master of art on nonverbal communication to succeed in work, love, and in life. All right. So once again, that's the Everything Body Language book. I believe that constructive criticism on oneself is pretty much the best criticism to have. If you're gonna criticize somebody else, shouldn't you have your own things in line first, right? So with that being said, I'm working on my hand gestures. I'm working on the words that I say, because I feel like once I've learned so many words, why shouldn't I use them, you know? So I try to advocate that as much as possible, using what you know, because information is nice, but once you apply the information, it becomes knowledge. Once you apply the knowledge, it becomes wisdom. So you keep that in mind. That's a golden nugget. Always apply the information that you receive. That way you can become a better you, and you can constructively criticize yourself before you constructively criticize someone else. All right. So that's day 18. I think I evaluated like 15, almost 16 videos on myself. So I appreciate the journey. So let's keep going, Solo Creative Pros. I'll see you tomorrow with the next challenge. All right. Namaste.
Welcome back to Chakras, the Spirit of Indigo, where we're about to wrap it up. But before we get out of here, you know we have to give you what? The message of the day, all right? And it's a little different today because we normally give you what? The 4 principles. Not now. Today, since this is our last episode, we are definitely going to give you a new message of the day, which is going to lead into the new podcast that I got coming up. Make sure you stay tuned, subscribe to the YouTube channel, and be on the lookout, all right? The message of the day and the new and the first episode of the new podcast season will be relationships, all right? And I think this is very important, very pivotal. We should all begin to hang around the right people and build the right relationships so we can flourish a little bit better in life. We have to begin to help ourselves out, all right? One phrase that I created a couple of episodes ago that you can go back and check in on is, through the relationships that we value, we find our life purposes, all right? Now, what do I mean by that? A lot of us get into relationships, whether it's an intimate relationship, whether it's a cordial relationship, whether it's a business relationship, and we don't know what kind of value we actually add to that relationship, all right? So this is why it's very important that when you're getting into these relationships with people on a business or intimate level, make sure you know what your value is. Make sure you know what you're adding to, bringing to the table, all right? Because remember, through the relationships that we value, we find our life purposes, all right? Check in for more information on that when you tune into it on my podcast coming up in a couple of weeks. I don't know the name of it yet. I need to get that name down, okay? It's gonna be something with Indigo. So make sure you stay tuned, all right? We're about to get ready to get up out of here. That's all I have for you today. We did go over the topic, which is ownership today, through the 4 principles, all right? I'm definitely gonna put an excerpt at the end of the show so you can make sure you make that happen, all right? Not to mention, we demonstrated how you can work the 4 principles, and I put a little bit of experience in there to tell you where I come from and how I made my ownership happen, all right? Thank y'all so much for tuning in. I'm Indigo. Until next time, make sure you're practicing intuition, creativity,